overnight at the store. To be honest, I still don't understand what it is. At night, I began to sleep badly because of knocks on the window of my house. Who could it be? Why he needs me? What the hell is going on here at all? But let's start from the beginning. My name is James and I'm a security guard at a grocery store. Let's start with what actually happened to me and what I saw. It was a beautiful day, Friday. I woke up on the alarm clock and went to eat in the kitchen. Later, I called myself a taxi and went to work. When I arrived, my boss called me and said that my partner, whose name was Andrew, would not come on the night shift today and you would have to stay on night duty. I didn't say anything to say that I was angry. I thought that I would sit until 21:0 and go home to watch football with friends. But it turned out not to be fate. Well, there's nothing to lose now, and I told the boss that I would work 2 shifts. Time passed quickly and surprisingly there were very few visitors. It was 00 on the clock and I decided to close the store, when suddenly some guy knocked on my window. He was dressed, to put it mildly, I say terribly. He smelled very strong. I didn't let him in though. He looked at what to take for a long time and finally chose. Then he paid and left. I looked at this man again and saw that the glass of the store was stained with paint. I was very angry, but at the same time I was scared because there was a phrase written on the glass. I washed the glass in perplexity and thought who could have done it. As a result, I came to the conclusion that it was the guy I served before the store closed. A little later, I went to my cubicle and sat there drinking tea. Suddenly I heard an unexpected knock on the window. To be honest, I was very scared, because who would think of knocking on the window of a store at 3 in the morning? I came out of my closet and went to see who it could be. When I went to the window and didn't see anyone there, I thought it was the wind playing around. But what happened later shocked me. I decided to turn around to go back to my cubicle, but there was the same guy standing near the door to my cubicle. To be honest, I still don't understand how he could even get there. But the good news is that it's all behind me. Suddenly I heard a knock on the window of my house. I decided to turn my head and saw a phrase that was written in paint. The creature. She walked slowly along the second floor of the gallery shopping center, and hurriedly skirting low shop windows with souvenir trinkets and flashy bright cheap jewelry, collecting admiring glances of men and envious glances of women. Her slender legs in leopard leggings and her elastic, toned figure caused both desire, confusion, and frenzied delight at the same time. She felt this combination of feelings and emotions and enjoyed it. She lazily glanced at the displayed trinkets and grinned. No, it's definitely not for her. She has an incomparably more worthy goal. She smoothly moved to an expensive platinum necklace with Ural emeralds, whose transparent, bottomless and enchanting light fascinated with its beauty. Today she can afford it. Christina laughed. Finally, her Tolik, whom she called Mr. Toads behind her back, would not be nagging at her ear and sighing, complaining about the high cost of the object of her lust, the price of money, the cost of living in a big city and other inconsequential nonsense. Not to say that Christina needed something, but her husband, of course, would not allow spending on such expensive purchases. But now he could not stop her. He was taken straight from work to the hospital with a massive stroke and now he will not soon be able to come to a conscious state. It is difficult to make a positive prognosis now, the doctor concluded. Christina flicked over a modest, neat girl behind the counter, who for some reason caused her an unexpected dislike. Well, give me this. Her finger rested on the glass of the showcase opposite the emerald splendor. The sales consultant carefully began to take out the necklace. However, it seemed to Christina that she was taking it out very slowly and was looking at it herself with a certain secret feeling of joy of possession and unwillingness to part with it. Move. Come on. Are you not alive? She was shaking with impatience, looking at the desired trinket. The girl handed the necklace and looked at her with an uncomprehending look, clearly wondering what could have caused such aggression. Christina didn't even look at her, clutched convulsively at the object of adoration and tried it on. Looked at herself in the mirror. It definitely suited her. Yes, it was her thing. Nothing that she was shaking a little. The effects of the adrenaline rush affected every part of her body, and her eyes acquired a completely uncharacteristic feverish shine. It was worth it anyway. I'll take it, she said in a husky voice. Christina put the card to the terminal, and it beeped as if dividing her life into before and after. Now you need to relax and celebrate it. She remembered that new Italian restaurant on Rubenstein, which she had long dreamed of getting into. And then she felt someone's gaze on her. She turned around, but saw no one. Something completely nerves to hell. We urgently need to go to the spa, then for a massage. And then she felt again that someone was watching her. A feeling of anxiety washed over her in an unpleasant wave. A nasty feeling of fear squeezed her throat. Her hand slowly crawled to the necklace. To hell with these restaurants and spas. You just need to call Stas. In his arms she always felt calm and confident, and this is what will give her the chance to feel the ground under her feet again and get rid of this annoying feeling of discomfort. Christina took out her new iPhone, but for some reason the search did not give out his number. She scrolled through the contact list from top to bottom, then from bottom to top, but could not find her lover's number there. What's wrong with me? I need to get some fresh air. She suddenly felt a little dizzy. She went down to the first floor of the gallery and left the building. There weren't many people here on this August summer evening. The air, completely motionless, froze over the hot asphalt, spreading a milky haze. The stifling warmth of the passing day, rising from the sidewalk along the walls, enveloped the few passers-by and dissolved in the crimson rays of the departing sun. The usual noise of the city calmed Christina down a little, and it became a little easier for her. So she decided to walk home and finally calm down. Today's purchase did not leave her mind. Did she do the right thing by buying it? Shouldn't you have taken your time first and thought it over again? Christina stopped in confusion. Where did such thoughts come from? Then she decided and took off the necklace, putting it in her purse. I'll think about it tomorrow. She tried to calm herself and resolutely walked towards the house. However, the feeling that she was being watched did not leave and did not disappear anywhere. Speeding up her pace, Christina quickly walked along the Lagovka. Her heart was pounding in her chest, beating a frantic rhythm. The sound of her heels echoed in her temples, but she ran until the aching feeling of unspoken doom forced her to stop on the bridge of the embankment of the Vodny Canal. Help me! Her wild cry made a couple in love shy away from her. Slowly walking to a meeting and a girl walking a funny little Shiba Inu. Christina clung to the railing of the bridge. Emotions replaced one another. Why did she even decide to go out today? Because she had already left the hospital in the morning. After talking with Tolik's doctor, she felt tired. And new experiences only intensified this condition. She had never experienced such a storm of emotions. It seemed to her that this adrenaline storm would never end. The blood was pounding in his temples, his heart seemed ready to break out of the cramped cage. And, suddenly everything was gone. Christina exhaled and slowly slid down from the railing, falling to her knees. After catching her breath a little, she stood up and shook her head a little in disbelief. Something was obviously wrong. More precisely, not something, but everything was wrong. She no longer felt fear. The feeling of being followed, which had so strained her, also dissipated. Strange. Why did she come here, and where was she supposed to go? Suddenly she was pricked by a creeping premonition, which she was stubbornly trying to drive away now. Emptiness. Emptiness inside. Christina looked around in confusion. Everything looked different now. Now she no longer had to go home. What should she do at home, and what difference does it make where she is now, at home? At the train station or on a bench in the park? She reached into her purse, pulled out a necklace and looked at it in surprise. Why would she need it? The set of stones and metal did not cause her any emotions. Christina carefully looked at the subject of her recent experiences, and only one word, WHY, was spinning in her head. At some point, she finally unclenched her fingers, and the sparkling toy fell into the water like a small star. The loss caused absolutely no response in her soul. Christina tried to recall at least some memories associated with pleasant or unpleasant impressions, but in vain. Then she decided what needed to be done. It definitely should work. She should try. She crossed the bypass canal on the Novokameny Bridge. and walked towards the Ligoff shopping center. Faddeev slowly scanned the incoming visitors with his eyes, noting potential initiators of undesirable excesses. The last time, for an incident with an exhibitionist who was overlooked by oversight, running around all floors and showing his nature to everyone, his replacement was fired one day. The girl, who pushed the glass door away from her with a strong blow and rushed to the elevator, greatly alarmed him. Having radioed his partner to look after the entrance, Faddeev hurried after her. He watched her go up the escalator without going into the shops on the second floor, and his suspicion was further strengthened when the stranger went to the fourth, administrative floor. It's going to make a row, for sure. Faddeev, coming out of the lift, hurried to the director's office, but froze in place when he saw how the girl, walking along the railing with a completely upset look, stopped, fell over the railing and flew for floors, was imprinted on the floor. One of her shoes flew off her foot and was thrown far to the side. Her loose hair gradually soaked in a spreading pool of blood. The head on the unnaturally twisted neck looked at Faddeev with an uncomprehending look. Shocked, he jerked towards the escalator and only now saw out of the corner of his eye what he would not like to see. The shadow of the girl remained motionless on the tile floor of the fourth floor, as if she lived a separate life, as if the stranger did not fall anywhere. And something detached from the wall, which began to suck this shadow into itself with a nasty crack. His partner found him about an hour later in the toilet on the third floor. "Come out. The police want to talk to you about the suicide of that woman." In response, he heard only an inarticulate murmur. 10 minutes later, when they finally decided to break down the toilet door, they found a crouched, frightened, absolutely gray-haired old man. The day was already ending and it was getting darker on the street, and only the white haze of the August day also continued to swirl over the asphalt of Ligovka, rising up and melting in the sunset of the departing crimson sun. To be continued. My older sister works at the hotel as a nurse. He has been working there for 5 years. The hotel itself is no different from others in the whole city. There are 10 floors in this hotel. At the moment we are talking about the 9th floor. All the maids usually clean during the day or until the evening, but in the evening no one went up there. The security staff did not go up there either, and from the evening until the next morning, the 9th floor was virtually empty. The reasons why the guests literally flew out of this floor later became clear. Mostly the complaints were that someone was running around the floor, trying to open the door of the guest rooms. Whispering and laughter were heard at night, and the next morning the windows of the rooms abruptly, for no apparent reason, open. However, the point was made by two cases that are still being discussed among her colleagues. Then I describe it from her words. That day I went on duty from 6 p.m. until the next morning. It was summer, and at this time it gets dark much later. Several maids were just tidying up the hotel rooms that had been vacated. All the rooms were cleaned closer to 11 p.m. When the question arose about cleaning the rooms on the 9th floor, the hotel manager hesitated and told one of the guards to just make a detour, and the cleaning would be done in the morning. Taking a flashlight, the guard went up to the 9th floor, and I sat in the office and laid out pills, bottles of alcohol, filled out a list of necessary medicines. Half an hour later, the same guard flew into the office, did not enter, did not knock, but literally flew in. To my question what happened, he just asked to give him valerian. I filled a glass with water and just wanted to add a few drops there, when he snatched the valerian from me and almost poured out all the contents. I tried to calm him down and still ask him what happened. He took 2 to 3 sips and said only one phrase, "I'm not going up there anymore." When he recovered a little, I called the other guards and asked them to look at what was on the floor. His reaction shocked me extremely. He literally almost shouted to his colleagues not to go up there. Our manager heard his cry and came running to find out what was the matter. Seeing the condition of the guy and the fact that he was seriously scared, the manager instructed the guards to check the floor tomorrow morning. The next morning, after making a detour, the security staff found nothing suspicious. But in the evening of the same day, at about 6 o'clock, the maid who was cleaning one of the rooms ran out screaming and literally also flew into my office. but she had a terrible tantrum that she had to be calmed down with valerian in large quantities. To my question what happened, the girl didn't really answer anything, but just continued to sob. Seeing her condition, the manager sent her home and decided to check the floor himself. Although he was dissuaded, he resolutely went up there. It took no more than half an hour. When he went down to the guys from the security, he asked who had stained all the walls. There were palm prints everywhere. Everyone was silent. No one could say anything. For peace of mind and safety, we decided to view the cameras. There was a feeling that our employees saw something that scared them a lot. Then it was creepy. The doors of the rooms were opening and closing, and the appearance of traces of human palms scared even me a lot. In general, I will not describe what happened next, but the 9th floor of the hotel is empty now. No one is settled there. They tried to do the rounds in the morning and accompanied by our guards. And I'm thinking of quitting.